Hi everyone, this is Killshot 99 Gaming. This is the Walking Dead movie, Major Rick Grimes changes. We're going to mix it up a little bit tonight. We're going to talk about the movie, some news that is floating around out there. I'm pretty excited about it. Doesn't have to do with the timetable, but it does have to do with a super bold prediction that each of us made. We're doing some overhaul, so next couple days I'll have all the artwork, all the little interface stuff there. I thought this would be like a scene from Star Trek, right? Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages. No, we're not going Star Trek. We are absolutely going to be talking about The Walking Dead. We are going to pull up some fan art. The reason why I wanted to kind of consolidate some of this fan art is that because it does work well with some of the theories that are out there. Some of it has been passed off as real images and stuff. None of this is from AMC. None of it. So if you see something pop up with Rick and a helicopter and a gun and Isabel or Jadis or anybody, it's all fake. But I did want to put it up here because it does serve a purpose. So before we get too far into tonight's stream, can I give a shout out to a couple people? Is that okay? Because this is a special time tonight. We were not going to do the stream. College football championship is tonight, so this is much, much earlier than usual. So many of you are going to be watching the playback. But I do want to give shout outs to all the Patreons. We are going to have our Patreon list updated very soon. We added some new people. A super special shout out to the PDL sponsors. I could go through and read them all, but you guys know who they are. They bring our wonderful, wonderful Play Dead live game to you guys on Friday nights. That group has done wonders for our channel, for the gameplay, and I've gotten some really, really good feedback on the Asylum, what people have been through so far, the weapons, the pack openings that we do, the explanations, the equipment sessions. We've streamed about, 20 hours of Play Dead Live over the last week and a half, so it's been pretty intense. And then one more shout out, and we'll get into tonight's theme, is for my moderators. My moderators are incredible. How about Kel Says Smile, Tommy the Tank, the Walking Dead Nerd, Ben the Tin Man, and our very own brand new moderator, Julia Muse. And if you are the green team, if you guys can show the paddle that like button, because Julia is she's a beast with a paddle. That's all I'm going to say. If you don't know what that means, then come to Play Dead Live and you'll see exactly what it means. All right, so we're moving into 2020. So fan art. Fan art is a big, big part. And you guys know I don't want to give you the news right away, right? Yeah, there's Hippo. But take this news and do with it what you will. So article came out today, earlier today, and said that Andrew Lincoln has been spending time at Cotswold Range. Now, at first glance, you could probably say, maybe he's at a shooting range, kind of blowing off a little bit of steam. But apparently, Andrew Lincoln has not only been working on his aim with guns, he's also been practicing archery. So, Rick Grimes, who could not hit the broadside of a barn until it blew up the bridge, and he can never hit anything, and then he can actually hit the dynamite for the explosion when that happened. But he could be 10 feet away from something and miss a walker. The reason I think this is super, super big deal is because we have kind of debated what the Andrew Lincoln story is going to be, what the Rick Grimes story, and whether it's going to be a tale of him being imprisoned and the search for him, or if it is going to be the tale of him getting healed relatively quick, going through some beast mode training, and becoming a badass mercenary and traveling to all these places across the world and taking down walkers. The reason why, number one, I like that, because I personally like the story. But let me go back to just they're not exact numbers, and I'm not going to, call on anybody to, kind of embarrass you about your theories. But let me say this. I would say 25%, I'm just coming up with a rough number, but there's a good portion of our viewers who did not buy into the Andrew Lincoln, super action hero going after people. A good portion of our audience said that they thought that the first movie was going to be a little bit more of a drama and a little bit more about his captivity. And some of it still could be. But to the 75% of us that were constantly arguing and saying, no, it can't. That's stuff they do on television. That's going to turn into Fear of the Walking Dead. They got to get out of the gates. It's got to be high action. It's got to get people's attention. So those of us that were making that argument, it does look like the scale is being tipped. So it's going to tell less of the TV show story and tie up all the loose ends. And it's just going to be more of blowing stuff up. Like explosions and here. And then maybe they tell the backstory of Rick Grimes as the movie progresses. So instead of the movie coming out and just, showing him let's say the movie's an hour and a half, okay? Roughly. So instead of 30 minutes of backstory, and then at the midway point later on, we finally, find out he's this soldier of fortune going around helping, that might be too much. Why don't we make him the soldier of fortune and blowing stuff up and going to New York and Chicago and London and, all over the world. I can't think of any place else. I was thinking like Cairo and couldn't get over that far yet. But you get my idea. Is we get him out of the gates as an action hero, and then maybe he does start to remember a little bit of it. Or maybe he's just, it's been so long. Or hell, maybe a dude was in a coma again. Maybe he went through his second coma. And the world was just different when he woke up. But regardless of, the maybes and the maybes. So Robin Vance, why not go home? No, I don't think amnesia. I think they tried to tell a little bit of that story, Robin, in Fear of the Walking Dead. When Isabella basically told Al that you can't talk about us. Remember, Isabel was going to kill Althea. That was her plan. Because when people find out about this group, when they get too far into them, they're exposed and you got to die. So the only thing that I can, and I'm ready to go bold with this prediction. I don't mind, because I don't think this is wrong. I think they forced him to stay away from his family, otherwise it's a risk, and they would have to annihilate everybody in Alexandria. I think that's his ultimatum. They were looking for somebody that could help them get the job done. They got it, and hey, dude, if you want your family to stay alive, you stay away from them. Now, let me also throw this out there. If we don't see the bigger world, if we don't have a group that sees the bigger picture, what's going to happen to your family eventually anyway? If Rick is not a mercenary, if Rick is not out there helping save the world, and he's just dropped back off in Alexandria, 5, 10, 15 years, it ain't going to matter. They're going to die anyway. But if you have this group of and look, let me give you guys some other news. What if Rick Grimes ain't the baddest man on the planet? What if Rick Grimes, we're saying it's going to be the Rick Grimes movie, but what if there are a few other badasses out there that might be a little bit badder than Rick Grimes? And their agenda is to rid the world of this threat. Which ultimately, I love that society's like, the hell you say, the hell you say. All right, but hey, just bear with me for a second. the more walkers you kill, the safer your family is. And what better way to introduce the Walking Dead franchise to a group of awesome fighters than to put it on the big screen? You know what? Imagine this. Why not? This would be brilliant. I'm going to go through the ultimate level of Walking Dead. If Scott Gimple does this, he'll be legendary. Endear a few of the characters through the movies and then cross them over to the TV show. You want to save fear? Build the movie through Rick. Let Rick have a couple sidekicks that are just as good as Rick, that we're watching the movie like, oh man, I like Rick. No, I like Tom. No, I like Jesse. Oh, I like Chloe. You know, whatever. You pick your character names. But you create these, 6, 7, 8 people that are going around in New York, and then, bring in somebody like Abraham, and they're just shooting rocket launchers and blowing stuff up, and everything's on fire, and they're high-fiving, drinking beer, flying the helicopter back. No, not even Heath, Wilson. I'm talking bigger than Heath. I'm talking Mark Wahlberg. There you go. How about that? How about like a Mark Wahlberg type of personality? How about a Rock type of personality that you build up through the movie and then pull them out of the movie after 3 and throw them on the TV show? See, that would give you a nice boost instead of vice versa. Now, I'm not talking about those particular people. Now, granted, they ain't putting The Rock on a TV show. But you could build larger-than-life action characters and then put them on the TV show. And I think it's easier to do it that way than you pull John Dory. Look, I like John Dory. But if you don't watch Fear the Walking Dead and you see Rick and you see John, it won't be bad. But it's going to be Walking Dead. It's going to be Walking Dead on a bigger screen. And Scott, this is where we're unveiling a couple of our clues, right? I've got my clues stored to the side. So what did Scott Gimple say in the most recent interview? He said, we're going in a wild new direction. He said, we're not going to take The Walking Dead and just put it on a big screen. So we can rule that out. But he didn't say that we're not going to do the opposite. We're going to go in a wild new direction. And then after we do 2 or 3 movies, and if that person doesn't fit into the next movie, let's drop them off on Fear the Walking Dead. Or, do you guys think that, what are the major cities in the United States that you think might need a little help from a zombie infestation? What are some of the major cities, right? Chicago, New York, of course, Los Angeles. But wait, there's one city. It's pretty close to Alexandria. There you go. What's that city that's about 3 miles from Alexandria, Virginia? Washington, D.C. So, is that our connection? Could they build somebody up in the movies? Send a crew into D.C.? Maybe Rick's not part of that crew. Maybe he is. But then a couple people stay behind and start helping these communities build themselves back up. Now, I don't know how that works. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're from Lincoln, Nebraska. I don't know how that works into a world beyond. Because I'm definitely not going Los Angeles, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Boston, Lincoln, Nebraska. That's not on my list. I'm not saying there's not zombies in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's just, the population. But I think they're good options. So if we've got Rick Grimes, I'm sorry, I don't want to mix up the character and the man. So if we've got Andrew Lincoln practicing his archery, practicing his shooting again, they're not taking this franchise to the big screen, in my opinion, to tell a story. I think they're using the television series to tell the story, and I think they're using the big screen to blow stuff up. Mindless, just entertainment, where you don't have to sit around and think about it. You just watch it, and you watch the action unfold in front of you. Throw in a couple of those one-liners, get somebody funny, like a Nick Cage. No, not like a Nick Cage movie. Better than a Nicolas Cage movie, Ben. Because, and I'm giving my personal opinion here. I mean, I don't want to, one thing about our channel is I don't want to totally bombard you with my opinion. I like, I like to state it, but I'm certainly not immune to backtracking or being criticized. But in giving my opinion, I think that action element attracts a larger audience. It gives them the chance to compete with other franchises. It doesn't mean that people are going to go back and turn on the television and say, now I'm going to watch The Walking Dead. They may not. It's a different story. It's a different entertainment value. But I would say movie to television crossovers has some potential. Put John Malkovich as the villain. Well, I mean, the budget. The budget alone. You're probably talking about a movie with the budget of an entire Walking Dead season. And those of us that you included, I include you guys in that chat, all of us, we cheer for characters like Daryl to cross over, Michonne to cross over, and that's fine. But once again, I want to take a risk. I want to see something different. If that world really is bigger, let's get away from Alexandria. Let's meet some new characters that are not restrained by their relationship. So, is it possible that there's a certain code of conduct for these mercenaries that are out there? Can't have a family, can't have a relationship, can't get too close to people. I don't think they're going to make Rick Grimes into James Bond, where he's like an international man of mystery out there forming relationships. I think there are certain rules. Rules are, you go out, take care of some things. Now, Is it possible Okay. I'm going to give you guys a super crazy, bold, you know what I'm calling it? A bold possibility. This is not going to be a bold prediction. Everybody here, do me a favor, hit that like button if you want the kill shot special bold possibility never before been discussed. Paddle that like button. And I'm going to unveil it right here, right now. Normally we stream at 9:30. Sometimes we stream at 8. This is a special time. Kill shot is exclusive. All right, hold on. Let me make sure that everybody's finding that button. All right, looks like we did. Looks like we did a good job. Okay. What is the possibility when they said possibility of 3 movies? What if this Commonwealth, Crystal Singer Chicken said, you know what? What I'm about to say, George Drake is going to confirm it, everybody. Right after I say it, George Drake is going to do a video tomorrow and confirm it as law. You know how Negan used to give out points? What if the group that says Rick should go back is wrong? And what if the group that says Rick needs to go out there and save the world is wrong? And somewhere in the middle, I'm giving to you guys right now. This is the bold possibility. Exactly. Thank you. Deadly Tammy Dimes. Wait for it. What if somewhere in the middle there's a negotiation? Kind of like those old mafia movies. You know the one where Ben Affleck had to rob the bank and you always got a debt to pay, and then you rob that bank. It was, I don't know what it was called. And then after you do it, you pull this job, and then, there's always like one mob boss, and he comes back, it's like, hey, you're always going to be into us. You can't just walk away. You can't leave us. You got to pull another job. And then he's got to pull another job. And then they pull that job and they start staking out your girlfriend's house. And he's like, you know what? We've been watching her. We're going to kill her if you don't pull another job. And you always got to pull another job, right? So what if Rick's deal is that he's got a criteria he has to meet. He's got to do some favors, or he's got to serve a certain amount of time for the possibility that he could see his family again. The only problem is, it's been a hell of a long time. That's the only reason. I mean, it's a lot of years that have gone by. But, maybe they got some leverage over him. Just not going to say it's a prediction. I'm saying it's a bold possibility. Where he owes them. Because that would really satisfy both, wouldn't it? That, well, he should go back, but he's not. Well, why can't he go back? Because these people are so evil. Well, if they're so evil, why is he risking his life for them every day and he's getting nothing out of it? So what if we compromise and say he's working for points? He's working for something. That's what I'm saying, Crystal. So Q&A, could it be they have a mission they have to accomplish before he can go back? Exactly. But maybe they never get to the mission. Or maybe he believes in the mission, that he's seen that it's not just his family that is at risk, everybody's family's at risk. We've lived through Alexandria, and we've lived pretty desperately through parts of California, parts of Mexico, and parts of Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, and wherever else fear has been all over the world. But we've only seen a few communities. But for every Alexandria, there probably is a Lincoln, Nebraska. There's a Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada. There's all these places. There's a Hickory, North Carolina. Charlottesville, Virginia. You get my point, though. That they bring Rick in, and they patch him up, and they start showing him all these videos. And they start showing him, like, these different communities, and the risk, and the death, and how it's just overrun. And if we don't do something about it at a higher level, it's just going to continue. And then they give him a stat, like, did you know there are only 10% of the population is now human and 90% is walker. And next year it's going to be 95. And in 2 years, if we don't reverse this trend, society is going to be completely overrun. So, stuff like that. I mean, that could wear on you, right? If you've got statistical data to prove that, and then you even go to Rick and say, hey, you want to go back to Alexandria? You got 367 days to live there, bub. But if you hang out with us, we'll take out the perimeter. Then we'll go into D.C. We'll take out a few. While your people are dealing with the local threat, growing tomatoes. They probably don't know about the whispers. We'll head down to Richmond. There's a herd down there of about 5,000. Boom, we're going to blow those people up. You're never going to see that. So, and then maybe, after a year or two, you see that the work you're doing is good work. And you start to reverse that trend. And now all of a sudden, maybe the population's 20%. So you can see that in 7, 10, 15 years that you might be able to get a hold of this walker infestation. So, Eric, I wouldn't go as far as to say a cure, but a reversal of everybody dying in the population, certainly, that's something I would be interested in, to think that, if he's doing it for nothing and they're not gaining any ground, then yeah, hey, drop me off at my house. I'm going to go see Judith and draw stuff in a coloring book. But if you think that, well, maybe in 10 years, me and all these other mercenaries, that we can get a hold of society and we can create a safe world, and then I can see Judith at 10, 15, maybe see the second half of her life, that's a possibility. See, that's a plot that I could wrap myself around. Because on the TV show, we're not living year to year. We're not looking 5 years down the road of what we're going to be like. They're looking at, how do I survive tomorrow? How do I survive next month? Kind of like that, Jack Nicholson speech, where he's like, I provide the blanket of comfort for you to sleep every night. Well, maybe Rick, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. Maybe Rick is up on that wall. So all of these communities can sleep at night. And they come in the dark and they gun a few of them down and you don't even know they're there. They're not coming into your community asking you for a thank you. They're not asking you to give them a nice warm place to sleep. They're coming in, they're exterminating, and then they're getting the hell out and going to the next city. The world is bigger. It's too big that you don't have time to make friends, that you don't have time to kiss babies. You got to get on the helicopter and get to the next place. That's what Rick Grimes is all about. I will stake my reputation and I will stamp it with a George Drake confirmation. It is as good as law. Major Rick Grimes changes. Rick Grimes will be flying around killing stuff. He will be blowing stuff up. That's the only way we can make this thing happen. Otherwise, leave it on AMC, tune in on Sunday night, tell the next story. It is 7:30, everyone. thank you for being here for this special time, this special stream. Appreciate everything that you guys do. We're going to be back tomorrow night for normally our Monday mashup. We do trivia on Mondays, but tomorrow we are going to do Tuesday trivia. The reason we are canceling or postponing tonight's trivia is because there's a pretty big college football game on. So I want to thank all of you guys for being flexible, changing your schedule, hanging out with us, talking a little bit about the Walking Dead movie, Major Rick Grimes, learning to shoot a bow. And enjoy the game tonight. Best of luck for whichever team you're pulling for. I will be back tomorrow at 9:30. Get your Alexas ready. Get your, I can't say her name, but you know who it is on your iPhones. If I say her name, she'll start looking something up. And to those of you that have Alexa on that listen to my voice, Alexa, turn down the lights, turn on the television, check out the college football game, and buy everyone here some Matchbox 20 Wallflowers tickets to go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. All right, everybody, have a good evening. I will talk to you all tomorrow at 9:30. Peace.